A sense of worthiness and a sense of unworthiness are both enemies of Christian ministry. The source and lifeblood of ministry is always God's love for us and our love for God. Hi, I'm Warren, the rector here at St. Columba's. Glad you could join me for my message of the day. It's perhaps well known that to undertake Christian ministry for our own benefit runs contrary to ministry itself. But perhaps less well known is the flip side of that same coin. And that flip side can show itself, for instance, in the voice that says to us that we're not worthy to undertake Christian ministry, or something similar. They're the two sides of the one coin, and the coin is self-focus. If you like, a positive or a negative one, but they're the same. They're the same currency. Ministry begins, and the lifeblood of ministry is our relationship with God and our love of God. We are God's beloved. God loves us, and we love God. That's the source and the lifeblood of all ministry. And ministry proceeds from this source. Of course, there are times for all of us as ministers and in ministry where self-focus does come up and show itself in our lives and in our ministry. But the antidote is to return to a sense of God's love for us and our love for God. And that's why the church has always encouraged ministers to undertake the spiritual practices of the church to keep that love of God and the sense of God's love of us alive and well. Now, as a consequence of focusing on God and in ministry and having that as the source of ministry, a consequence can be our renewal and our rebuilding as a person. To have God as the foundation, God's love for us and our love for God as a foundation, rather than us for Christian ministry, will bring about change in us. That's one reason why Christian ministry can be so fulfilling, but also that's why it can be so difficult at times, because the rebuilding will require some dying to ourselves, to ourself, not to focus on ourselves, but to find renewal by focusing on God. If we ever start Christian ministry or try to sustain it with trying to build ourselves up, it's good for my self-esteem to do this, I feel good when I do it, that's really entering into a maze that you can never get out of. But to actually stay with God and our love for God as the source and lifeblood of ministry will lead, as a consequence, to our rebuilding as people. And we can share in all the benefits that come through ministry, the ministry that we share, that is all those benefits that are shared around through my ministry to other people and their ministry to me. Thanks for joining me. Bye-bye.